Hi, welcome back. Today we're gonna be discussing journaling. Basically, I'm gonna talk about how I started getting into journaling, my journal ecosystem, and just like tips on how to get into journaling. I think I'm still like a beginner because I have started like journaling constantly in starting like for like an entire year now actually. And I was never into journaling. Like I've tried to journal for years and I would see people go on and on and on about why you should journal, how journaling is important, blah blah blah. And whenever I would try it myself, I would hate it. Like I would hate it with passion. And I just like now however, I am a avid journaler. If that's journaler, is that a word? I've definitely become a journal person. Like I love journaling now, and so I thought like maybe I can help people who were kind of like me before, who hated journaling, and then slowly maybe help them get into it, because I definitely think journaling has improved my life, like really truly improved my life. So yeah, I thought I would do this really quick video and talk about journaling, and also I will also talk about my ecosystem. I do want to preface something is I'm going to talk about journaling, basically not all types of journaling. Like I'm not going to talk about like junk journaling and like other types of like more creative types of journaling. I'm talking here about sort of journaling that would document your life, that will help you stay present, help you be more creative, one where you sit and you process your emotions, you process your thought process, and just the way you think, and try to like connect patterns and try to understand yourself a little bit better. I'm talking about this type of journaling. The more creative one is not really something I managed to get into, even though I did try. But yes, so I just want to preface that a little bit early on. And so yeah, let's get started, shall we? Before I get into my ecosystem, which I have 3 different types of journals right here, before I get into that, I first want to give you guys quick tips that I picked up while on my journaling journey that is honestly still ongoing, because like I said, it's been like about a year since, or a little over a few months, over a year since I started like journaling constantly. So first ever tip is journals are not meant to be pretty. Yes, I know it's kind of hard. I know it's like a habit, it's a muscle that you have to build. So it's like so exhausting to sit down and write and to process your emotions and to sit and think about why you're feeling that way and try to name what you're feeling and to document everything. And it is exhausting as it is, and your brain will reject it heavily. Journaling as it is extremely hard. To sit here and to try to like make it pretty is only gonna add on to the hardness of the task. So for me, when I worried too much about the aesthetics of journaling, I wrote less and I journaled less. I had to like break free from this, and in order for me to start journaling, like I would have like a pretty journal and I'll be like, but it's so pretty, I don't want to ruin it. Like I don't want to write with an ugly handwriting and ruin it. So I stopped like journaling constantly because I was so busy thinking about how I can make it pretty and how I don't want to ruin these really pretty journals. But then I had to sort of break free from that. In fact, I would go the extra mile and say make it intentionally ugly, like, because it's sort of like a barrier you have to break. And so if you go out of your way to make it intentionally ugly, you would basically break free from always constantly thinking about your handwriting and the way everything looks or whatever. I've actually seen some people online write with an illegible handwriting on purpose because they, first of all, don't want anyone else to read it. Second of all, they don't want to read it back even, or have to think about the handwriting and the way that it looks, etc. They kind of breaks free from the constant desire in the back of your head to make everything aesthetic. It's like in this when you're journaling, you don't have to think about that. You have to just write, okay? And that I know it is holding me back, I stopped doing it and I stopped caring, and now I write so much more because like I don't have to think too much about it. And journals don't have to be pretty, not just in a visual sense, I mean in a literal sense. The content doesn't have to be pretty, because you're gonna have bad thoughts and you're gonna have ugly thoughts and you're gonna have mean thoughts. And if you're constantly thinking about how I can make this pretty, beautiful, like and everything in it is just wonderful constantly, it's gonna be really hard and you're gonna stop journaling. So you just basically write. Don't overthink it. Don't worry about whether your journal is ugly or pretty or aesthetic, or whether the content is good, and just write, okay? It doesn't have to be good, okay? It doesn't have to be pretty. It shouldn't be pretty. Make it intentionally ugly. That's what I would give you. And that is my first ever tip. Now, because journals are not meant to be read, at least for a while. Now, hear me out, okay? Now, I journal because I want to understand my thought process better. I want to, regulate my emotions better, and that's why I journal. And it's really good because it helps, like, reading your journals is really good because it helps you understand yourself, and it helps you track your progress and understand your thought process and even your personality. But if you read your journals a little too early or immediately, it may actually have the opposite effect, where you're still kind of invested in whatever you're writing about, and rereading that may trigger something in you or may push you to stop reading or writing, because rereading it would hash out sort of the emotions that you carry when you wrote that journal entry. So to me, it feels like something I can't do immediately. It's something I have to do later on. So I wait usually like 4 to 6 months before reading my journal entries. And because now I no longer carry that anxiety for those issues. And a lot of times would be issues that are really stupid and dumb, and I would like overthink it, and I would just make it into this really big issue, whatever. And then I would reread the journal and be like, oh, that issue is easy peasy, I solved it immediately, it wasn't even a big deal, and I would laugh at myself. So like there's this sense of relief when you read back, that you're like, oh, like that was so dumb of me, why did I overthink this, like look at this, it's solved. That's really nice, but like again, in order to reach that point, enough time has to pass, and so you have to wait a while before you start reading your journal. But do reread your journal, right? But again, do reread it, because it is so important to see how you write. I feel like some people like, I don't want to reread my journal, and that's fine, I think. There are some journals I don't want to reread, and I'll talk about this a little bit in my ecosystem section, but I feel like certain things need to be reread, and you need to see what you were doing in specific times of your life, and then look back at yourself now and see how differently you think. I think for me, I've tracked so many things that I've progressed in, like even my thought process, because I was able to reread in instances where I had the same situation, and the way I reacted to things was so significantly better. And the only way I would know that is because I was constantly journaling, and I was able to look back at it and open my notebook and read about it specifically. So yeah, I think that rereading journals is important, but don't do it immediately. Do it after enough time has passed. 3 is journaling is not meant to be performative. This is so important, because I think we cannot help but to perform. We perform in every single aspect of our lives. I'm currently performing. You perform in the way you dress. You perform in even in your relationship sometimes, which sucks. Really sucks. But your journal should be that one spot where you're not performing. I think so many people feel the need to perform even when writing down their own thoughts, which is crazy. It's fucking insane. But your thoughts don't have to be profound. No? Doesn't have to be a literary masterpiece, okay? It doesn't, okay? Your journals will not be published after you die, and you're not entertaining an audience. You're not entertaining anybody. This is just your thoughts, okay? stop performing. Stop performing, stop thinking about it, stop thinking about an invisible audience that there's gonna eventually read this journal. No one is gonna read this journal but you. No one is here but you. Don't perform, okay? Just sit there and write, okay? And make it on purpose that the journal is the only place in your life that you aren't constantly performing, and that can be really hard. That can truly be hard, but it is make this your goal, is that when you're writing in your journal, you're being 100% yourself, and you're saying your thoughts, and you're not sitting here going, okay, who's my intended audience with this one? These are the tips that I have thought of when I was writing the script for this journal that I think are very important. And these are the ones that I had to learn, the hard way. So my journaling ecosystem consists of 3 different journals. Okay, list. These are my 3 journals, and I write in each one differently. So yeah, these are the ones that I've decided on. Personally, I don't think I will be adding on to this. I know people have like so much more. I feel like I've seen people who have like specifically a book journal and specifically like a gratitude journal, blah blah blah. I've seen so many different types. To me, if I have a journal that specific, I would probably not write in it. So the more complicated something is, the less likely I will to do it. And I understand myself, so if you feel like this is better for you, go for it. But for me, it's like the more complicated something is, the less likely I am to do it, and I want to do this, so I'm not gonna complicate it. But yeah, let's start with the smallest one, which is, I don't think it's a journal. This is considered a notebook, I think. But this is a notebook that my mom gave me for free, and it's from Hema, which is like a it's a Netherlands, it's a Dutch brand from what I remember. My Morning Pages journal. If you don't know what Morning Pages is, it's basically a type of journaling that was created by Julia Cameron, who wrote the book called The Artist Way. I did The Artist Way last year in September, I think, and I have a love-hate relationship with Morning Pages. It 100% felt like a chore to me the entire time I was writing it, because and let me explain what Morning Pages is. You have to do a 3-page brain dump every single morning. Now, to me, it truly felt like a chore. It felt like something I had to do, and I hated it. When I was doing Morning Pages, I hated it, but they 100% do work. What basically they're supposed to do is they're supposed to basically get rid of all your brain clutter, if you will. Anything that is just running through your head, running through your brain so early in the morning. You tend to write it all down, release all that energy, and then the rest of the day you can focus on being more productive and being more creative. Work. Okay, it genuinely does work. I mean, I started this channel because I did this specific type of journaling. It's because it truly helps you stay accountable and also pushes you to be more productive. And the only reason I started this channel is because I started this book and I did this book, but at the same time, it does feel so taxing and annoying to do in the process. But I do highly recommend trying it out. It is genuinely really nice. It genuinely helps you be more productive and more creative. Don't do this as consistently as I used to. I stopped doing this every single day. And the reason why is because I don't feel like I need it. I think I know when I need it now. I understand myself a little bit better, and I know when I need to just do regular journaling versus do brain dumps, like early Morning Pages brain dumps. So yeah, I also like put it in its own notebook rather than like my other journal, my regular journal, is because I feel like I don't like reading my brain dumps. I don't like reading my Morning Pages. I rarely ever read them back because they tend to be like really annoying. Like I said, it feels like a chore to me, so the whole time when I do morning pages, I'm whining and I'm complaining, and it's kind of annoying to read back, so I tend to not really read my morning pages. So that's why I don't want to keep them in my regular journal, so I have a whole notebook for them. And I've, since the start, I've done this because she kind of mentions in the book that you have to have your own notebook, or have its own journal. So I did have another journal that's specifically for my morning pages, and I don't read them. Even that journal, I finished it, put it away, and I have not touched it since, because I feel like whenever I read them, I'm annoyed at myself because I'm so fucking annoying when I'm like, all my journal entries like wonderful, but then other times you like read it and you're like, oh my god, what's wrong with you, girl? Like, stop. To the next journal right here, which is my commonplace book. Yes, my commonplace book. If you don't know what commonplace book is, basically it's a notebook that is a place where you specifically write down anything that interests you. Like, you take notes on anything that interests you. And like, I'll give an example. Let's say you're reading a book, and in the book you found a quote or something that happened that truly resonated with you. You grab this book and you write it down. If you're watching a YouTube video and basically they give you information that you find valuable, that you want to remember, you write it down here. It basically is a notebook to gather information, research, quotes, things that you found interesting, and you jot it down, and also you have your own thoughts with it. So the way that this is supposed to help, is supposed to help you basically with meaningful consumption. Meaningful consumption, if you have not like been on the internet a lot, you do not watch videos like this a lot, basically meaningful consumption is something that a lot of people discuss about how when we're consuming media, specifically social media, YouTube, etc., we're not really focused on gathering information or trying to truly meaningfully understand the content. We tend to read through and go through so much content without even remembering it. Like, if I hold a gun to your head and I say, hey, tell me one TikTok you've listened to or you've heard today, and you're gonna say, I don't remember, because we tend to not remember because we're just scrolling. So a commonplace book is supposed to be a spot for you to write down the things that you found interesting when consuming media, and so you can have a place to go back to. I write everything in here. Like, I write quotes from books, and even like just things that they talk about in a book that I find interesting, I write it down here. I write down things from shows, from movies, from articles, and everything creative that I like. For example, an article that I wrote for Substack, I got the idea because I kept writing the notes from the book. They were discussing this specific thing, and I kept finding that thing resonated with me, and I kept writing it down in my notebook, and I realized, hey, I kind of want to talk about this a bit more. So I got into research mode and wrote down some more, and then that turned into sort of my Substack article. Hi! So she decided that she wants to shove her ass in your faces. I'm so sorry, guys. What do you want? For example, I would want an information that I know watched a video about or I read about, and I wrote down here, and I don't remember specifically what it says. I'll just like open it and be like, okay, where was it? And then I would look down, look for it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. And then I would be like, yeah, that's that information that I need. Sometimes like I research things that are stuff that I'm interested in, and then I would write down notes about them, and then later on when I wanna re-access that information, I don't have to go search for it again. I can just find it in my notebook and find my own thoughts and the things that I had in my brain while I was researching about this, and how I made a specific conclusion towards it. It's something that basically scholars and like scientists back in the day used to do. I think back in the day they used to do it because they didn't always have access to the books, because they had to go to the library or whatever, and so they had to like write down notes and stuff like this. But for us, even though we have access to internet 24/7, I think it's because it's not really physical. We don't tend to remember it, so it's really important to have a physical spot where all of these things can go. And also it helps you understand what you're interested in. Like, I can look back and be like, oh, you know what, during that time I was really interested in shame, and shame-bound people. Like I'm like looking at that now, and I was doing so much research about this, and then there's an era where I was researching neoliberalism. It's from my book. They all go in here as well. Like things that I found interesting while reading a book, I would write it down. Quotes that I liked, like everything that I like while consuming, researching, I write down in here. It's my favorite type of journaling because it feels very creative for me, because when I write down in here, I'm being creative, I'm consuming properly, I'm having profound thoughts. So I love when I reach out for this journal, because I don't write in this journal every single day, because I sometimes there are some days where I would was so obsessed with writing in it that I would always constantly search for things to write in, and what tends to happen is I tend to hate it. I hate writing in here. So I stopped making it like a chore and start being like, whenever you feel the need to write in it, you should write in it. So I don't write in it as constantly, but when I do, god damn, it's good. Okay, it's always good, it's always profound. Like basically book reviews I write down here. Like this is a book review for Soft Power by Joseph Nye Jr. Like it's fucking so long, and it helps me consume mindfully. It helps me basically take in information that I'm receiving better, and helps me process shows better, books, videos, everything. It just helps me understand things in a more deeper level, and I love it. It's like my favorite type of journaling. I highly recommend to start a commonplace book, specifically if you're chronically online like me and you love spending time on the internet. This is a great thing to have, because you are so much better at consuming when you have this with you. You think about things in a very different manner. The third journal, which is my everyday journal. This is my daily journal. This is the one that I use every single day. This is where my to-do lists are, my habit trackers. This is where I go to basically plan my day, talk about my emotions, document my life. I would write down various notes, even things like, oh, my cats received the flea medicine on the 10th of May, so like I would remember next month that I need to get it again on the 10th of May. So like it's basically my safe space, and also my brain in the same spot. It's where I process emotions, events, things that happen to me, and even the most mundane, boring thoughts. Like I'd write down here like, oh, today was incredibly boring and I didn't do anything, and I kind of hate that I didn't do anything, but I also was having fun. Anyway, regardless, I will try to do more things tomorrow. Like even stupid stuff like this. And there's a million fucking journal entry that sounds exactly like what I just said right now, but it is so much fun to write it. And also, so I get to like look back at my days and be like, ooh, on that day I did this. And since I've been doing it for over a year now, I can find journal entries like this from the last year, and I can see what I was doing on that day, and it's such an interesting thing. Also, like when you write in this type of journaling where you kind of document your life, but also thoughts, emotions, etc., it truly helps you feel like you've lived a long time. Like for me, this is a thing for me specifically, because I've always felt like the years are all jumbled up. Nothing really felt like it had value. Time didn't have value for me, because I feel like everything would just pass and pass. But with journaling specifically, even this type of journaling, I always feel like, oh, the days are longer. I can see that I've done things throughout. It feels so much better. This is just my entire life and my entire brain in a notebook. And I started this notebook very recently. I think the first ever, since 20th of November up until now, and I've already done majority of it, and I only have this much left. But yeah, I love writing on my journal. This is basically, like I said, it's my life and my brain. All of it is in here. It's kind of dangerous to have, lying around the house and for other people to see, but I love this so much. It has helped me so much. So yes, that is my journaling ecosystems, and also the few tips that I picked up that might help people who want to start journaling. My main advice for journaling, and I know some people find it hard, but my main advice is to just write. Just write even if it's stupid, even if it's dumb, even if you feel like it may not be grammatically correct, that's fine. Just write it down. Getting into the habit of writing is so important, and it really truly helps you become a better communicator of your thoughts, your brain. I mean, I can articulate myself so much better now, and it's not good yet, it's not good, but it's so much better now that I write constantly, and my thoughts constantly, my emotions constantly, because I can understand them on a deeper level, and it helps to like work through some issues, you know. It's not perfect, it's not therapy, but it can truly help. So yeah, I recommend for you to just write, and then as you write, you're gonna discover different things that you like to do when you journal, and make it a habit. It has to be a habit. It has to be something you have to do every day. And at first you're gonna have to force yourself, because your brain isn't really used to the you know, the process of sitting down and writing, and so it will resist. Your brain will resist it. But if you keep pushing for a while, it took me 6 weeks of forcing myself to constantly journal for it to become a regular habit in my daily life. So yeah, it is something that you will have to push yourself to do. But once you do, it's so much fun, and it's so nice. Like sometimes I feel like everything feels stuffy and like icky and disgusting, and I write it down and I feel better. Okay. And that's I think journaling. That is why it's so important. I think why everyone talks about it. And you know, when you go online, you're like, people like, you should work out every day and drink water and journal and you'll feel better, and you're like, shut the fuck up. And then you do those things and you're like, god damn it, they were right. Recommend you start journaling, and I also highly recommend you start a commonplace book, because honestly I love this so much. And also let me know if you gonna maybe try the artist way, or try at least the morning pages practice specifically. Yeah, I inspired you guys to start something, so you know, I just wanna see if you guys want to do this. Let me know if you have like different ways of journaling. What does your ecosystem look like? What are different ways you like to journal? And maybe I will start trying it out, and maybe it becomes my new favorite type of journaling. You never know. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week, hopefully. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.